Good afternoon. Hope everyone can hear me fine. Let's get off the phone with my Uncle Johnny, and we're going to talk about what's been going on in my life since I was a child. And what's crazy to me is that this is a perfect example to use as you're only as smart as what you know. For example, there's about 200 acres, no, about 100, 150 acres in Austin, Texas, Creedmoor, Texas, that belonged to my grandfather. Well, my grandfather had 7 boys. Dad was the fifth boy. There is only David, Mike, Johnny, and Philip left, which means Raymond, my dad, and Timothy passed away. What about David? But David is still alive. What's up, Josh? How's it going, brother? So, did you watch that video? The one I posted about knowing the words, being a true believer, and then at the end of the video, how the whole room was lit up white, and I could stick my hand in it, and it would cover my whole fucking hand. Yeah, it was one of those type experiences where it was I could feel the energy in the room. I could feel the love, the the power. You should go check it out. It's one of the it's 11 almost 12 minutes long, but it describes the definition of true all the way to the resurrection and what the resurrection truthfully means and how what I am doing is the definition of it to bring back old teachings into new. I also revealed how in these letters, in these dictionaries, that there is hidden knowledge of star constellations and my right to be who I say I am. And it's crazy how people assume that they know what is going on when in reality they're so far from the truth. It's on YouTube. And I think it might be on TikTok too, but I'd check out YouTube first. Um, Let me check for you real quick. But yeah, it's one of those to where I give you the dictionary's definitions by definition. What's up, BC? It's on YouTube. It should be. I'm checking right now. How are y'all doing today? This evening, tonight? It's funny how star children are up late because to us, this is day. GA. Georgia? I'm not sure. Just got off of work. Heck yeah. Atlanta, Georgia. What's up, Atlanta? Let me look at my channel real quick on my phone and then I'll be able to tell you. Videos. Yes, it should be up right now. It's the light at the end is beautiful and can't be explained. I've explained. It's one of those things where it's like there's a reason that they don't want you to go to the dictionary because the dictionary is the only thing that has God's true knowledge. Oh, I'm here in Las Cruces, New Mexico. Las Cruces. See, people don't understand that this alphabet that you have, that you know, well, there's way more to it. It is infiniteless. It is quantum. And I've been shown how to teach it back by these lessons that only were taught to his disciples. That's the truth. I don't know him, but I know him. I know him because I am him. And whether people want to believe it or not, hey, that's your choice. I'm not here to shove things down your throat. I'm here to show you the truth by word, definition of word, and what that word means. It means more than anything because at the end of the day, that word has been set in stone. And anything other than that word and its definition, well, they've bamboozled you. They've lied to you. And that's a shame. A lot of people don't. let's see. They don't realize that numbers are letters, letters are numbers. It's all part of God's code. There is a code. I mean, how do you think language was created? I'm here to bring it back together to where it's supposed to be, finish it. That way, our children and the children to come will have a future. Because if we keep going down this road, we are all screwed. And it's one of those things where it's like, a good example. I was talking to my Uncle Johnny tonight, and they have to be off of the farm by April. I think it's April 14th, April 8th, April 14th, something like that. And my Uncle Mike has basically conned everybody. My Uncle Mike stole my inheritance from my father when he passed away. Everything that was supposed to go to me, he took and manipulated me to believe that he was doing the right by me. When in reality, because I didn't know the law, I didn't know that he was stealing from me. A truck, a van, tools, money out of the accounts. That's the truth. It's not about what you think you know. It's about what you can bring to the fucking fight. And I'm trying to give every single person a Gatling gun. Because ain't nothing gonna beat down a Gatling gun. For example, nothing will beat out the only book of God. Come on. Again with the light thing, it'll blur things out. So, see that right there? That is the definition of true, all the way down to true or false. Now, those dots are star constellations and locations where you can stand to see them. It gets deep. You would have to have an infinite amount of dictionaries to pull out all knowledge. Now, what men have taken away and hidden from us, God is trying to give back freely through his son, through things like this, through music, because these younger generations, they speak to each other through music because they don't know how to communicate because we haven't taught them how to. Because hell, let's face it, we don't even know how to communicate without emotions getting involved, feelings getting hurt, fights breaking out. It's one of those things to where if you know the definition of these words, you're unstoppable. So in the Bible, it states on the seventh day, God rested. But let me put a bookmark in here real quick. That God rested. Well, what else is called a rest? A music note, a music rest. God celebrated after he finished creating the universe. It says so right here next to resurrection, rest. You have on 1144 rest, which is me, OE, peace, ease, refreshment, and produced by sleep. Sleep or repose or a period of this refreshing ease and activity after work, etc. But music rests too. So if God was created the same way, right here. Oh, no, right here. That's the rest. I encourage everybody to go read these because the resurrection's on this page and what it means and how it proves that I am doing exactly that right now because I'm resurrecting the old teachings of our blood. I'm resurrecting the truth through undeniable proof that hasn't changed. The New World Dictionary, Tree of Life. Yes. I mean, it's one of those things where you have to be able to see. Mother had to take her sibling to court to get what was owed to her after my grandmother passed. You see people's true color. Exactly. Exactly. 100% you are correct, BC. Oh, and you in Greensville, South Carolina? Dang, Greensville. See, I've traveled. I was basically stationary in Austin, Texas, and the surrounding areas. Grew up in a small town called Taylor, Texas. Then went to Louisiana. My father chased this woman after my mother died. And He married and divorced her 6 times. And the last time, he married her under my name and social security number because we have the same first and last name. I didn't find that out until my second marriage. Actually, theoretically, my third. Yeah, people's true colors do get involved, and that's why I don't believe in money, because those are that is a false idol. That is a god that y'all worship, that most worship. I'm not saying y'all do because I barely know you. Nice. What part of Louisiana? We lived in Lake Charles and Sulphur area, and we were there for both Hurricane Rita and Katrina. Yep, yep. Sorry, I've been smoking. I smoke weed. You have to smoke weed in order to relieve some of the stresses of having to combat with ignorance all the time because of the indoctrinated false truths that they have. People can believe what they know is true without ever fact checking anything and be completely wrong. Like we're seeing it every day. There's never any shame. There should be no shame in admitting that you've messed up. A carpenter once said, one, you have to build your foundation on sturdy ground. Two, you have to make sure everything is done correctly, because if you mess up on one wall, you have to tear it all down and start over. And there's no shame in doing it the right way. And this is the right way. I had to turn my heater on real quick. It's a little cold out here in the desert at night. Ugh. It's one of those things where it's like, I posted a video on TikTok that basically asked people for help because I don't get money like other people. Don't get me wrong, I'd love to, but I can't get a job for some reason, even though I try. People don't like being around individuals who can prove that they're not who they say they are to an individual. And that's what's crazy to me. Every day, yes, sir. Man, I'm getting ready for grow season. I'm going to grow some Studio 54, some slaps, some King Louis, some Golden Goat, and I have like this stuff called Bubble Bath, and then some mystery seeds. But I'm only going to do like one of each. That way I can see how they're going to, what their genetics are going to do here in this desert environment. Because the only thing that theoretically that should be able to thrive here in the desert is Kush and Afghanistan strains, because we are exactly the opposite as Jerusalem and the Holy Land and all the surrounding Middle Eastern areas over here in Las Cruces, New Mexico, which also helps validate location, and that I'm telling the truth about who I say I am. Because if you don't know that there are two Jerusalems, the one that was destroyed during the Great Flood, and then the one man rebuilt that's overseas after the continental division settled, then you believe only man. Believe not man, because man can be corruptible. Yes, sir, it is legal in New Mexico. And you will see it legal throughout our whole nation. And I'll tell you why. It was supposed to be the industry boom, the economical boom, the similar to the cotton and the mechanics race. This was supposed to pull us out of debt, but it hasn't yet, even though it should have twice fold already. It's showing how many people are corrupt in our politics, because I encourage everyone to put down these weaponized forms of religion. Oh, it will be soon, especially if I said that I was going to move there. Everywhere that I move, within a year, it's legal. That's what's crazy to me. Maybe I need to take a trip up the East Coast. my my great uncle is Benjamin Nathaniel Cardozo. They're the 96th ranked law school in New York. He was a judge and wrote the laws in New York in the early 1900s to the 1940s or 50s. He was my grandmother's uncle. So he's been my great great uncle. Oh, dude. And then you want to see some crazy shit that I found out yesterday? Got pictures to prove it. My mother and my uncle knew Elvis Presley. Check this shit out. And because of the family secret, that little girl is my mother, and that little boy is my uncle Trey. Trey and Charlotte. That is Elvis Presley in the white, and the man to the side of Elvis Presley is my great great grandfather Milton Purnell Keith. Now, this record right here is made by Butch Keith. He sung it, he wrote it, but when Jimmy Hollow and the Good Time Boys or whatever they were, you're running a special on your heart, and with the song that Elvis Presley made in the same time frame of That's When Your Troubles Begin, Elvis Presley admitted of having a threesome. No joke, it's in the song. Go listen to it. And my grandfather Butch Milton Jr. caught them fucking around after they'd already had the threesome. Mary was actually continuing to see Elvis, and what was crazy is that was what led to kind of their breakup. My grandfather quit doing music. They divorced. There was a silence in the family that there's a hatred there for some reason, and it's like, damn, that's crazy to me that they couldn't even tell me, and that God had to reveal it to me. Yes, yes. And it's like, yo, these words have multiple meanings. They have multiple ways to use them. You see it every day in this new age rap and this this hip hop and this evolution of our language that is crying out for someone to rope it up and bring it home. Well, I've already done roped it up and I brought it home, but it's one of those things to where you have to teach it. It can't be just taught. Like you, if you don't know the concept behind English or even language and communication through symbols and not being able to speak, then it's going to be hard to understand. That's why it has to be shown, like drawn, taught correctly. Because if you don't, we end up in this situation to where we are now, an unevolved slave English that holds us back. You started seeing the errors, Josh. I mean, J Dog, you saw them once you started texting. It's like, holy fuck, I see them. It's like, yeah, it's crazy, ain't it? How individuals can show you the truth, the actual truth, without no one can beat it. No one has ever been able to combat what I can do. They'll make fun of me. They'll say that I'm stupid, but they can never bring any evidence that can discredit what I'm saying. And that's what crazy is. The people who try to say that they're smart and come to a gunfight with a fucking butter knife. It's like, Jesus Christ. My Father, who art in heaven, the controller and master of all universe, the creator of life and death, the one of all ones, the one that has given me the privilege to stand up and fight for him when nobody else would. That's the truth. Most people would be called crazy if they try to claim the title of Jesus. There's a man in Australia right now that the news did a segment on. It's like, guy proclaiming he's Jesus, blah, 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 blah. And he's in this church saying, I'm Jesus, get over it. Let me tell you something, son. Jesus is only rude when you disrespect his father and disrespect the people. Jesus was peace. He brought peace and understanding, but he was stern. He had parables. No, he had a pair of balls. to speak in such a manner that nobody else could. And that's what I bring, is these big ass pair of balls and these parables, these riddles that should not be riddles. If you were to do what the red word said, know my words, study my words, keep them close to your heart. That way no man may have dominion over you. And you know, it's crazy. I've gone through Catholicism, Pentecostal, baptism, Christianity, through New Age, Latter-day Saints, I've read the Book of Mormon, the Latter-day Saints. It's not Latter-day Saints, it's later day saints. People have to understand some of these letters were created in different times and weren't created until a certain time. So therefore that word could not be possible. It's all about transliteration, detransliteration, knowing where this shit comes from, and people don't. It's frustrating, man. Here, sorry, I need to lie down. I need to smoke. But like I was saying, that's that gas, son. It's like I did a video to where I would like some of these things so I can continue to teach with a better ease. Let no man call what my Father has created unclean. Did you not get that scripture when he revealed it to Joshua, when he took the cloak off of everything in the famine and said that, hey, I knew you weren't supposed to eat the catfish and the bottom feeders of the world, but let no man call what I've created unclean. Telling him that if you put your faith into God and into me, you are going to be fine. And that's how I walk, because God created this world, and it's man who said that other parts of this land isn't holy. Those are the unholy men. I ask for no profit. I ask for no donations. I ask for your ears, for you to listen, to think, to comprehend. Mushrooms are fine, and you need them when you have been controlled and conformed into a system of slavery and brainwashing. You have to break that veil. That's the truth. See, I've broken my veil to where I don't need any of that. This is sobriety. This is the gift that God has given me. These spiritual powers, superpowers, these things that I possess were things that I was given when I was given life. I've been able to do this my whole life. And mushrooms depends on how you use them. Now, there is such thing as gluttony, and gluttony is a sin. To eat in moderation or to have a connection with God when things get confusing and you need clarity, that is when it's okay. When it is not okay is when you do it every single day and neglect your responsibilities, as in children or loved ones. God knows that I've neglected my family because of this. But my God is a jealous God. And I know that everything's going to be okay because I have faith because of my actions. That's the truth. Because I have actions. The scripture says you can't have faith if you don't have actions. A good book that I would recommend everybody to get, there's a few, but this one's called The Instructor. This has the Book of Mormon in it and the Latter-day Saints. But it also gives you key details of, one, how Jesus would have to present himself by the scripture and how it says in the scripture. Now, okay, check this out. If you want to know where the real Israel is, it says right here in Ephesians 16:13 through 15. Israel fed upon quails and manna. Well, any place that has quail is of Israel. How strange we are on the exact opposite side of the world as Israel, and we have quail here. I mean, this is all stuff that I've studied, I've researched, I've got made fun of for. I mean, I've almost I've had people fucking call the cops and send them to my house because of the things that have happened and the things that I've said that I can prove. And it's like, damn, man, when people don't even realize that the things that they do have such an impact. What does it say? Reveals the things of God. First Corinthians second chapter 10 through 12. But God hath revealed them unto us by his Spirit, unto the U.S., not us. It is the U.S. It is a mistranslation. That is the truth. Because God don't believe in letters and words like us, because he's created everything. He can talk to us through everything if you know how to pay attention. But them upon the U.S. by his Spirit, for the Spirit searcheth all things, ye the depth things of God. For what man knoweth the things of a man, save the Spirit of, but the Spirit of God. Now we have received not the Spirit of the world, but the Spirit of which is of God, that we might know the things that are freely given to us by God. That's in this, out of all those. And when I say all those, I mean all these here. It's gonna be funny. Oh, can I? I got so many chords. All these books, all of these books right here, I've read more than once, more than twice. Fact check. Then I've read what has been hidden in them. The hidden book inside of the book that no corrupt man would ever be able to teach, and only the Son of God could. That's crazy. I mean, it even says in this, I can't remember the scripture, but Jesus will reveal himself to you. It's your job to believe him or not. And it's like, what am I doing? What do I do? I don't ask you to believe me. I ask you to hear me and then fact check me. As you should. Because without the action of making sure that what you are being told is correct, then you yourself are just a sheep. And I'm not here to gather the sheep. I'm here to gather my angels, my people, my world. Because what they've used against us for generations and generations is finally being able to be used back at them. And what the strange thing is, it depends on y'all, on how fast or how slow this goes. The King James Bible is a book of prophecy about me. And I can prove it. Matthew chapter 1, verse 6. David begot Solomon. Solomon begot Urias. Well, how can Solomon, the son of David, crown Urias if his father killed him? Because Urias had many sons. The bloodline lived. Microdosing? Yes. As long as it's in moderation and in search of truth. Now, if it's to just get fucked up and just be like, then no, that's gluttony. You know, to each their own. I'm not here to judge my people. Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. I'm here to judge the corruption. These politicians, these rich men who have stole from every single one of us, these charlatans in these chapels who use my Father's name in blasphemy. If I were to ever go 10 toes to 10 toes with Reverend Copeland, I would make him cry in front of every single fucking one of you. That's the truth. Back then, before writing was even made, Yahweh, clarity comes from yourself and what you're doing. So, clarity and to lead a different, better life. You should always want a better life for your family, because the life that we are being sold is it's a crock of shit. That's the thing. It's a slave society. Keep doing what you're doing, brother, because as long as you're doing your quest to find God, he'll bring you right back to me every time. That's truth. Just like I'm always here for you or anybody all the time. People's misunderstanding and their assumptions that they know what they know is absolute truth. Well, it's not, because they don't even crack open a dictionary to fact check it. You want to lead a different and better life for your children and your family? Educate them, brother, with the dictionary and not man's religion, but teach them of God and how God can be weaponized against every individual if they do not know the word, not the scripture. See, because that's where I come in. I don't know scripture. I never read the Bible like everybody proclaims they do. I use it as a tool to where if I'm shown something, I'll crack it open and use it in the moment. Because that book is one of the first books of blasphemy. So if you want people to turn their backs on an individual, how would you do it? By making his good deeds look like miracles. Jesus fed 5,000 people with fish, fed five. The 144,000 that God talks of, first letter of the alphabet is A. Fourth letter is D. Fourth letter is D. Add 3 zeros. What did they do to him? They added 3 zeros to that 5 and made it look like 5,000 to make you have the assumption if a man can't turn one fish into 5,000, then he cannot be Jesus. Most people in today's society will call you crazy for thinking outside of the norm. It's like we're living in the world. Exactly. Non-playable characters. I've created the box. I have created the box. Therefore, I can never be trapped in it. So I could never conform in the society that gave this slave education system. My last years of school, I was half a senior, no, half a sophomore, half a junior, 10 and 11, 10th and 11th grade. I quit school because I had to help my family. My dad got sick. They're not even robots. Even the robots are flawed. Think about this. In the Bible, when it says God created man, well, men are flawed. Well, if men are flawed, that must mean the creator is flawed. And if the creator is flawed and learning as he goes because he had created this out of nothing for the first time, he didn't do this multiple times. This was the first time. And he is just as forgiving and understanding as I am and as everybody should be. He is not this vengeful fucking tyrant. He is a loving, compassionate, caring God of truth. And what he can't do here, he's been trying to show us for years. Nobody's been paying attention because they all automatically assume no one's ever gone on that quest to find him except for me. And it led me here, Las Cruces, New Mexico. And the ability to do what I can do. Teach everything that I can teach. Oh, and that I haven't even used yet. That was just an impulse buy. It was weird to see if I could get a chemistry set through Amazon when the whole pandemic came through. And I was able to. That's what that is. The new E is not only the new English, that right there is also a chemical equation for a new type of drug. What type of drug? I don't know. I'm not a chemist. You know, it's these similarities that are in everything that I can show you. Now, if I were to build a group, I would have to have a chemist, a mathematician, a art expert, a person that knows nothing, a rich man, a poor man, and so on and so on. That way, I would be able to show them what I'm talking about, and they would be able to validate. It's one of those things to where the flux capacitor, that's where that came from. It's the 1, 2, 3, then 4, and then connecting the lines. And it worked into be a teaching of showing how the color purple is created and how everybody fills in the blank that shouldn't be filled in. They should create another circle for the actual answer, and they don't. It's also to show 555 equals 15, which is a representation of me. James Keith Urias hides Jesus. uh, I mean, 12/24 of 23, we had the comet fly into our atmosphere a day before Christmas that I saw documented, and have the documented dollar bill that was given to me the same fucking day. Y'all don't believe in miracles anymore. Y'all believe in what you want a miracle to become or be, to be able for you to believe it. We've been so cushioned and brainwashed to believe that what we think is true, and the expectations that we have on what it would take for us to believe God existed and is real, are so far outside of the norm because of TV, the tragedy and the trauma that we've experienced through life and this society. I mean, he would have to come back and show everybody exactly what they wanted to see. It's irrational. Everyone holds such a high standard to God, but doesn't hold a high standard to these politicians who actually are in control of our lives. That'll make you question some shit. What kind of question do you have for me, Josh? If you're still there, what's a question that if you were in front of me, in front of Jesus right now, what would you ask him? You too, BC. Let's play this part. Let's see what happens. If you were in front of Jesus and he was going to give you a truthful answer, what would your question be? No questions of manipulations, but like actual questions. You're not doing anything wrong, brother. It's the society that is working against you, because the society is designed to punish people like me and you. If you don't comply or conform, you get beat, your life gets hard. You get shunned, you get outcasted. But in reality, you should be proud, because it took thousands of years to develop a system that would shun the followers of God, the true followers. Because in a world to where 1 tells 10, and that 10 tells 10, so on and so forth, they do not want information to spread. So a phrase that was coined in the 1950s, it was made conspiracy theory, and it was introduced when Area 51 basically took over. And if anybody got close to the truth, they were shunned by the society and the community, calling them conspiracy theorists, when in reality, you're not. It's just we were so rare and we've been so spread apart that we felt alone. So we'd give up on our missions, our quests for the truth, and we'd conform to society. You're not doing anything. It will feel like that. But no, it's not. It's the devil using timing and testing you to see how you will react. Will you get mad at your family? Will you raise your voice because you're not getting done what you need to get done? How will you act? What will your actions be in your time of frustration or overwhelming? That's the test. They are, but they don't know it. So forgive them for it and teach them how to work with you and not against you. It's a hard road when you're teaching someone how to work with you and not against you. And they themselves don't even see that they are working against you. I'm going through the same thing with my family. When they say that I love you and I believe what you're talking about, and I know what you're talking about, but you don't know what I'm talking about because the understanding is not there. The concept of, do you know what this means? Do you know what type of magnitude it would have if it was released? It would devastate every bit of power that any and every family has ever obtained on the wealthy side. So when it said that the tables would flip and the rich would be poor and the poor would be rich, that's what this is talking about. So don't get mad at them. Don't separate yourself from them. Bring them closer. Love them. Love them in a manner to where you teach them. You show them. Don't tell them. Guide them. Josh, I hope that helped, brother. That's the truth from the heart, from knowing the word, from knowing people, from going through the same experiences as you. That's a revelation that a man had that God helped him with so he could understand how not to lose a family. Witnessed it here at 1:36 a.m. New Mexico time. A message from the past sent to the future because how many hours are you ahead of me, Josh? It's 1:36 here, 4 or 5, maybe something like that. I can do great things if given but a chance. And I'm not scared to take what I've been given my whole life from others that I do not know. What I am scared of is God not doing as I was shown and not being able to change the world for the generations to come because of the children that I have created in it today. I'm sitting on a metal chair. It sucks, especially when you're a white dude that doesn't have an ass. You're sitting on straight tailbone, so you're like, ah, ah. You know, if it weren't for you two individuals, I'd still be doing what I'm doing, but I'd be a lot sadder. You two individuals don't know how much y'all mean to me. When the rest of the world don't even comment or ask questions or see, and all they do is troll and use words they don't know. It gets lonely, and you do feel alone. Even though I know I'm not. That physical connection is what humanity needs. Because the spiritual connection is so misconstrued by all of these liars who want to have attention. I came across you in a Ryan Upchurch comment thread. Oh yeah, I backed you when people were mocking you, and yes sir, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. And I stand up for the truth. Ryan Upchurch is one of those individuals. I haven't really listened to his music, but I know it's good because he's dedicated to it. But what I'm a fan of him about is his experience in life that has given him these abilities. Cut the heads off of the snakes. almost the same abilities that I have. See, my eyes are light. They're hazel. They change colors. Blue eyes are angelic. The eyes that change colors, that have all colors, well, that's of the Father. People don't understand. I did call that. I did call that way before anybody knew. There's a lot of things I can call too about how Adam Calhoun, his apology video was a plea, not a real apology. Well, good, you are an angel. Because let me tell you, the story that happened overseas, exactly. It's like the story that happened overseas with individuals that started wars were not the correct stories. They never shown the books that were being burned, but for brief moments is there was multiple races that were getting basically executed. The Jews were the individuals, kind of like in today's society, that refused to change. So they went and rounded up everybody, all the politicians, all the teachers, all of the individuals who could not do right by God. That's why he went on that tyrant and that rampage. And I'm not a follower of Nazis. I'm not a skinhead. I'm not affiliated with any fucking body except for God. But I do know how to see the truth. And what didn't make sense to me was that the story that we were being fed was missing things. Hitler ended up escaping and living his life out until the day he died in South America. That's the truth. I mean, hell, there's so much truth being discovered right now that it can't be stopped because of social media and this technology and how it has evolved to this state of communication. Now, what needs to happen is the quantum unity of English because it works in all languages: German, Russian, Korean, Sanskrit, Latin, Spanish, Honduras. I mean, even in Japanese. It is so crazy how when you can see the spiritual side of things, our American letters, our English letters are in their fucking lines. I mean, Ryan Upchurch is one of those individuals that I can say that I can relate to because his family's fucked him over. Everyone in my family screwed me over. As a kid, I'd give up my room and sleep on the couch so my family would have a room to stay in. I did that because I loved them. you know, well, the whole time they were stealing from me, stealing my inheritance, lying to me, doing me wrong, justifying it. And it's okay because no matter what, at the end of the day, what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. But what is right? Are you going in the right direction to right the wrong, which is WRIGHT, or are you just going in the right, RIGHT, which is the wrong direction? So, BC, if you're still there, what would your question be? Oh, you might not be there. I don't know who's here still. I got one hanging in there. Oh, we've been going strong for almost an hour now. What's up, BC? How are you doing? So, if you were able to ask a question to the sun, what would it be? Kind of like Justin did. I mean, I'd ask him, why me? What did I do specifically to earn this glorification, this glory, this grace? So it had to be in. This is what I'm what I can perceive. In order to start, something has to end. So in order for the bang, it had to be an implosion. So a anomaly in space of two black holes coming together to create life. Now our solar system, think of a 9-ball game of pool. Yes. And that's always the way it's thy king, thinking. Look at that word. Thinking. The more you're thinking about it, thy king. Teach. King. A lot of people don't realize that our solar system is supposed to have another sun. And that's Saturn. Because Saturn's rotation would bring the remaining light to the back planets, allowing life to happen and to have a sustainable place to stay if we ever needed to go somewhere. Now, that's why the gas is so condensed. And it does try to reignite, but it doesn't have that extra oomph. If we were to send a ship of about 5 nuclear bombs and we could get the mathematics right on the ignition of that sun, and if we were to hit it at the right time, it would reignite and turn back into a sun, allowing life on other planets. Now, a lot of people don't realize that when we started in the solar system, we didn't have a moon. Not at all. The inside of our planet gave birth to it, which would validate the disaster of Pangea, a scar. The scar is actually in that desert. You might have seen the picture a few times where it looks like they'll be talking about, is this Atlantis? How did our planet get here? Same way, an explosion. Same way the sun gave birth to each planet, a magnitude of itself left the earth or left the sun, then would circle around, collecting space debris. So, if you must know his name, it is Father. God, it is many names. It is all names. Because he is the creator of creation. To have an actual name, you wouldn't be able to understand the language. Because it is yet to be evolved to that point. And no one here is smart enough to translate it. She, Sha, Ke, light, Jehovah. I mean, hoses, dollar. A lot of people don't realize it depends on who you're worshiping and what truths you actually obtain and hold. Because the truth, if anything other than what the word describes it as, it's a lie. It's a manipulation to justify someone's wants or their beliefs. A lot of people can't take one of those L's, homie, you know what I'm saying? The black holes. They were just, it's one of those things where it's like, in order to have, you can have not. I was born and raised and believed in God, and I do. Good, good. You should. But you were also born and raised to believe that you shouldn't question God. When that's a lie, you should always question your father. For example, my father, the man who raised me, forced me to do drugs. I have the track marks on my arm to prove it. when I was a child. His go-to was, "If you love me, son, you'll do it with me." And me not being smart enough or strong enough, believed him. And that's when I learned that you are supposed to question your father, because who else to get him back to where he needs to be than his son? And that was my fault, because I didn't know any better at the time. But I've been Oh yes, it's fun. But I can show you the diagram of the first mapped out universe. Leonardo da Vinci was the first one to do it. The flower of life is a grid, and each point is a sun, a nova. And then it goes down into tesseracts, which, if you know what a tesseract is, it's a cube which holds universes or multiverses in it. So we are a power source for a higher, intelligent, more advanced being. That's the truth. The definition of alien: anything not of this realm. So angels and demons, not of this realm, therefore they are aliens. That's the truth. It's not hard to follow common sense and put one and one together, but that's the thing. Do you know one and one equals three? That's the power of 369. Think of the Bible. One man, one woman, have sex, create a baby. How many people are in that family now? Three. Now, it is wrong all the way up until, I want to say, threes or fours. I think it's threes. But three is mathematics, six is English, is communication and language, and nine is self discovery. Like, you thought of how well built our bodies are to operate and run. Okay, now check this out. You are right. We're the most sophisticated smart computer that has ever been created. We think faster than a computer. We're smarter than computers. Well, most of us are. We are a living computer. And what is in control? The actual AI was the first computer, which was a species, a android. And I guarantee you, if someone were to investigate White Sands missile range, they'd find that android hooked up to the World Wide Web. When they talked about turning on that quantum computer is a computer that can have endless possibilities of thought. That's how I think. I think on an infinite quantum level, to where I can evolve anything and everything. Good, brother, and I hope that she understood, and I hope I love you was taken seriously. But anyway, now, what has been left here for me to find? These breadcrumbs. If you only knew, think about this. These broadcasts that we make are unprotected. Okay. So they can be picked up by other life forms, and images can be hidden inside of these transmissions without us knowing. If you've ever paused something and seen something that wasn't normally there, or was there when you paused it, you're like, whoa, what the fuck is that? That's because it's really there. There is multiple infinite possibilities of dimensional life. I'm glad you're back, Josh. Or I guess he left again. But anyway, now, when you can understand that we are the most sophisticated computer, Good job. You can start to understand that who you are now is a under. Well, it made me feel like I did not use the time I had wisely. I was like, if I'd have known what I know now, I'd have started this when I was 6 years old. you know, we are. We have compassion. We have emotions. We have the ability to choose to do right or wrong. A computer does not. So when a creator creates an algorithm based upon laws and opinions of himself, then that algorithm is too flawed. Just like man was flawed. It leads me back to, are my fathers flawed? I mean, he's not ashamed to say that. And he wants you to know that it's okay to be who you are. Because if you're not who you are, who he has created for you to be, then you are committing blasphemy. And the world is trying to steal from you what God has made you. And that's how I look at this. Now check this out. BC, this is my folder of evidence that I've been building for a while. Not even a while, but that dollar bill I was telling you about, 1224 of the comet, right here. Star note, to be exact. Now, I also have another star notes that are of significant value. The state of Texas, my birth certificate, because it hides in my name, Jesus has admitted I am who I am. And when they made the error of my mother's middle name today instead of K, that was proving that I am the son. Now, the this goes in another folder. Sorry, California ID that I received when I was there. Y9696666. That's numerical confirmation. Now, to understand what I'm saying, you have to understand Yeats, the poet, when he created the poem "The Second Coming." He was giving you the chance to sit at the serpent's table to hear what they would say about your savior. They would call him a snake, the destroyer, because he would come back and destroy everything that they created to benefit themselves and not you. Now, here's the kicker. This is the vital statistics one. What's circled right there is the seal of God, an error that created a seal head, a cartoon seal head. Now, at the bottom, oops, you see that N-I-N, Nin, 9? That is the Hebrew name for God. All of my documentations, all of my evidence that I can prove through teachings, through numerical sequencing. These are all teachings that I have, that I've created, or that I have rediscovered. Sorry, I don't want to commit blasphemy. I've rediscovered these, and they've led me to who I am. If it's because people don't believe, well, what do people believe in? Only what they're told. They don't fact check anything. My last name, Urias, by definition, is the light of Jehovah. I mean, my mother's death certificate, there is no 31st in September. She was a K. I mean, an 11 is not a 7. I mean, an 11 is not two L's. It's an 11. My documentation number right here equals up to 17. My mother passed away March 31st. Missed that woman. But I know she'd be proud of me. I mean, I have proclamations that are in my name of land that I purchased. Not a lot, just like a foot in Scotland, because the Keith family and the Keith clan, which I will take back and I will take from them, which is would make me the King of Scotland, the King of Kings, the King of Scotland, the King of England, the King of Europe, the King of France, the King of the United States, the King of South America. Jesus is home. It's just a matter of time before I get to where I need to be. But right now, this is where I need to be. Because this is the true Holy Land. It's the only place in the United States that has white sand. What is light? It's white. Now, we have to be more sophisticated than a computer. We build, okay, so we have thought about building computers, but it is computers that builds computers. We come up with the designs. So basically, kind of like the God complex. I put I put servers into the Dell compound in Round Rock, Texas, for a week doing odd jobs for the labor ready. So I've seen their facilities and how they work, and it's one of those things to where it's like we're supposed to be more sophisticated than computers, but we're not. We don't listen to one another. We don't help one another. We talk bad about one another. A computer has to follow a program, and that program had to be created and then fed into a human public education system. So you tell me, are you a computer or are you what the public education system has created? You're exactly what they created and what they wanted you to be. And this right here, what I'm doing is showing you who you could possibly be and who you should be. The end times false prophet. The false will profit. I have no money. That was a play on words. The false will profit in the end. So anybody who has money or who is trying to make money, you should be aware of. And that's coming from a man that has no money. Hell, I was asking people on TikTok to purchase me some things so I could show and explain better this teaching and this art. You know, I ask if I need. I get the help on individuals, but I don't expect. I expect nothing other than me fighting an uphill battle against a world that has been created to discredit God, discredit its own individuals. Man, yep. Oh, why does it look like there's a heart on my head and light? What the fuck? Uh, it's small things like that that make me just love God and love being me. Those of God will want to learn and will be hungry. Those of God that are not of God, but of man's God, will discredit and throw stones at you. Well, my house is built correctly. You're going to watch stones bounce right off. Man. What's crazy is going back to Ryan Upchurch. What's crazy is that man had the fear that was in Adam Calhoun's eyes. Bob Marley said it best. What is money to you? What is rich? Because my richness is in my family, is in the right thing. Do I want to be rich? No, who doesn't? It would make this so much easier Because then I can just go buy whatever the fuck I wanted to help teach this lesson, but I can't because I don't have that. And no silver spoon individual who has come from wealth has ever been able to help out the poverty because he doesn't have the experience of walking through it and seeing what is wrong with it. That right there should show you and tell you the politics is a jack off and a load of shit. There are many things that determine wealth. See, and that's why I say I'm more than a computer because I'm a walking dictionary that knows the truth in the multiple variations or the possibilities of manipulation or one's truth that could be misconstrued off of the actual word's truth definition. I mean, have you ever thought about in a world of corrupt, evil individuals, you walk with God, who would walk with you? Well, I tell you, no one. I've got to take my dog out and get back to bed. I've enjoyed it. So I watch your stuff and I'm sure I'll catch you again later. Sure will, brother. Or woman. Individual, yes, you will. Thank you so much. Love y'all for coming in tonight. I hope this was food for your soul, some fulfillment that you needed. I'm a man. That reminded me of this scene with Cat Williams and fucking uh Tyrese Williams. I don't give me some Lucky Charms. He said, I am my boy. Go walk your dog, man, before that dog pisses or shits on your stuff. Oh man, that's hilarious. Later. All right, I got a like. That's what's up. Got a thumbs up. Pew. Oh hell yeah. It's only 2:06 here. The night is still young for me. I was actually trying to learn how to use some of these sorry. Some of these keypads and beat pads and stuff that I have a lot better than what I do. And my uncle called and started off this whole tangent about how family's doing him and they're doing me, and it's like, yo, it don't matter because it's all good, man. And then what's crazy to me is in that video where that light got so fucking bright at the end. If I were to show you my light, that shit is dirty. Like I live in the desert, dude, and that light was outside. Like the only two times that it's ever rained, so it's got like dust and like just I haven't cleaned it off. So for that to glow the way it did, you better go back. You better go to bed, homie. Not everybody can be like me, dude. It takes a lot. But hey, man, you have a good night, Josh, brother, and I'll talk to you next time. I'm probably gonna end the live here and start working on some music as well. Thank y'all for the fulfillment. I love y'all. God bless.